The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. With me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. And what else can you say? Anyway, we've got kind of a sideways market out here. It's been a little down. It's been a little up. Opened a little higher, went a little lower. It's gone sideways. Of course, this is the last day of options expiration rollover. And as we get into that, I don't know what else you can say. But it is what it is. Anyway, we'll look at the numbers here anyway. There's not much going on. The biggest thing going on isn't a market indicator. It's not an index. It's something else. But we're trading at 21.22, so we're off 19 cents on the S&P. Cash, 1.8 billion shares, so we went higher again to 21.28. Not a lot of volume. Didn't go much lower, 21.19, so we're 3 points higher than the low today. I saw enough and some interesting positions that I started putting on short positions today, and some fairly long distance puts out into the fall. I think that they will do well. The stocks, for the most part, that I put on have been drifting down, at least from their morning highs. We'll have to see what else happens out there, but a lot of good indications, at least on some individual stocks, and probably a fairly easy bet for a binary outcome on other things going on today. So, we probably should see today as a watershed day, and that is we're either going to be much higher or much lower probably tomorrow. Let me put it that way. It's going to be tough to see this market go sideways. Of course, the one thing that really matters out here today was the dollar index, and this thing looks like it's drifting up to its high of day, which is $95.64 on the continuous contract. As we look at that, it's up a little over 1%, mostly on the back of some comments by a Fed governor that we'll get into here shortly. But basically, they saw the euro down about 1%, saw the dollar up. I think that maybe this should be headed back up to 100 at least to retest that last high in the dollar index. So you got to figure that any kind of upside is heavily muted and would be problematic for anybody that thinks that this market's going much higher when the dollar index continues to go higher itself. At best, you need the thing to stop at 95. We've had a lot of Fed intervention, Treasury intervention, and as I think I was talking to Andy before the show, but we have a lot of conversations. One thing that I think every trader, after a bit of time, figures out is that no matter what you do, eventually the markets will correct and go back to where they're supposed to, whether it's a government or a state or even a block of countries. Eventually, the markets will adapt. In the case of OPEC, a good example, they had all the oil. We went and found more. The only thing that's wrong with that now is we've got a bunch of Luddites that don't want us having crude because, I don't know, they just self-haters, don't want crude, come up with a reason not to have it. No matter what it is, they'll find a reason not to. That's the Luddites in society. It's always going to do something horrible, always finding some reason why progress is bad. Not all of it's great, but for the most part, I kind of like being able to go in and buy a light bulb for $1. If we listened to them, we'd probably still be using candles. Anyway, as we move on, that's pretty much it. I don't know how you trump the dollar. That is the almighty indicator for me right now. And it is tough to see that we don't get a fairly decent reaction to this over the next few days. And we're getting some confirmation, and we'll talk about that also in the show. So that will be it. Yeah. Andy's saying parity against the euro. Give me liberty or give me a parity with the dollar, he says. Kind of paraphrasing a famous quote. But I do digress. On this day, 1912, Alan Turing, one of the greatest pioneers of modern computing and artificial intelligence, is born in Paddington district of London, England. He was incredibly gifted mathematician and theoretical guy in mathematics. Like a lot of people, you get one gift, God takes away somewhere else. In his part, it was any personal self-control and also being able to deal with people. I'm not big on dealing with people, but it's not like I have to stick my thumb in their eye. He would kind of do that quite a lot. He was kind of a Dr. House. He was brilliant at the same time, more than willing to shove that in everybody else's face and therefore have problems. He was brilliant in his own way. Lately, he's just become a poster boy for an agenda, political agenda in the market. Well, not in the market, but in the press and a movie. A whole lot less of his life had to do with his personal life, let me put it that way. Almost 16 hours a day, he worked on problems all the way through the early 1950s, where his mental problems actually started to compound. A lot of people think that maybe the government actually killed him. There's an homage to Apple. The original Apple had a bite taken out of it. Of course, he died from putting in poison in an apple and eating it. There's no evidence that someone else did it, but the idea is that maybe somebody did give him an apple. They were very afraid that his personal activities would give away what Winston Churchill thought was the most important secret of World War II and after. He labeled it ultra as the ultra most secret. And even people like the Vice President of the United States did not know about it until he became the president. So a lot of stuff going on there. But good movie. We've talked about it before, why there were a lot of other people that were involved in that, not just him. But from the Turing test to his Turing machine, a lot of the ideas on how computers would work originated from his 1934, I think it's 1934, 1936 paper, and continues on. But a brilliant mathematician, pretty horrible to be around by all accounts. But we're all a compendium of all our faults and weaknesses and our strengths. And he had both, but he certainly will be remembered as the father of modern computing. Of course, we had some movements out here in the Eurozone. Kind of interesting to see the euro down and not a bigger pop in both the UK and Germany. UK was up just a little bit, 0.13, 0.75% higher in the DAX. The France actually got the best, and I think the idea is that if they whine the most, if they make a deal with Greece, then France will be the next one to start whining and complaining and acting like they're going to leave, so Germany will give them a wad of cash to stay, which is the conundrum for all of the issues with Greece. And that is, if you give them what they want, do you not have to give everybody else what they want? And does it just become a rolling auction of cash out of Germany into the rest of these countries? I think that if they were smart, they would basically make Greece an example. If Russia wants to support a bunch of people that want to retire at 55, let them at it. We'll run Russia once again broke, just like we did at the end of the Cold War. I think it's silly to think that people cannot work and yet basically live like everybody here on the beachfront and retire after 20 years of work. Anyway, bigger moves out in Asia. The Shanghai was actually down, I think, almost 7% earlier. Closed up 2%. Nikkei up 2%. Hang Seng, my guess is that we're probably going to see that reverse. Probably going to lose the 2% tonight on the Shanghai and the Nikkei as they run into the dollar change. But that's just a thought at the moment. I think it's probably a good one, though, or a good guess. Of course, the news that I saw that was probably most important today was news coming out of several different fronts. The quote I have up here is the last 3 weeks of net buying for institutional clients and net sales over the last few weeks were the largest in history. And that includes in 2008 when people were forced to sell. There are tons of hedge funds and tons of big people getting out of this market, and mostly what they're getting out of, the large caps. They are voting with their feet that the dollar will continue to go up. A lot of people think that they can hide in the IWM because those stocks don't export as much. But guess what? When things slow down for the big guys, they will slow down for the little guys too. They are just rearranging the chairs on the Titanic, in my opinion. If the market is going down for the big cap guys, the small cap guys will follow suit. If you were watching the news today, also interesting, Google is launching a free music service to rival Spotify and Pandora. For the last couple of years, they've had a $10 service that's been pretty good, but I don't think it's as good as Spotify. Google unveiled a free ad-supported version of its Play Music all-access streaming service today, and of course that knocked about 50 cents off of Pandora instantly, the only pure play in this, and we were short it several times in the Tech Insider. If there was one segment that is plain that they won't make money, it's streaming music. I don't know why everybody's so consumed with it, but everybody seems like they think that they have to have a piece of this loser. And I would say it's probably the equivalent of 1980 being and wanting to be in the airline business. Just one bankruptcy after another. Now, these big companies, of course, can afford to take the losses. Music business is actually fairly small. So maybe it's just a price of doing business, a loss leader to keep people around. Maybe they'd just be smart and just say, okay, no ads. We're just going to eat the money, and that's it. We'll pay whatever we have to pay, and it'll just come out of our profits. I think that would be a better idea. Anyway, we'll be back in just a few moments. Got a nice lineup here today. We'll run for the next 2 hours, and then, of course, Andy Heck, too.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Pesavento, Thinkorswim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're flat on the day at 21.23 on the S&P cash, up 43 cents. It's a barn burner of a day with 1.9 billion shares on the New York Consolidated tape, so it is a quiet day. Just 1 billion shares on the NASDAQ. So again, we get up pretty much to 2108 and the volume falls out. But I continue. Anyway, Google, it's just kind of hard to see that anything's big going on. Interesting news out of the U.S. securities regulators, and that is that we have a lot of hackers hacking the biggest and most well-known companies out there and getting emails about things like mergers, acquisitions, everything else. And while most of these companies have tried to keep this under the radar and out of the news, the Securities and Exchange Commission is now requiring these companies to give them the data about the data breaches. Apparently there is, and according to the FBI, there is a pack of these folks. They are well knowing of the English language, better than I probably, but they are also very knowing of how the markets actually work and using this data to place trades before and after. This is not the first case. There was a gentleman somewhere in the Ukraine, I think, that made some $500,000 or $600,000 hacking and getting information on changes in companies that they got out in front of with options. But they found out who this guy is, and basically they've cut him off. But this looks like a bigger pack of folks, and we may be talking of the tens of millions of dollars that these people have been able to make by getting inside information by hacking, and they are extremely well put together. Makes people think that maybe somebody that used to be in the spy agencies has decided to use their knowledge to put together hackers and a team to basically hack the markets, which I thought was very interesting. Anyway, they're asking for data and looking forward to finding out how it's going on. Anything else going on? Let's see what else we have out here. I think that was it. Yeah, hacking the markets. Oh, pop that dollar. We forgot to talk about that dollar a little bit. Kind of interesting that what we've seen out here has been, I've got aliens going on out here. Anyway, we were talking about what pushed the market down this morning a little earlier at the start of the show, and that was Federal Reserve Governor Jerome Powell said that he expects the U.S. markets and banks to begin raising short-term interest rates in September, with a second increase coming in December. And that was enough to basically probably put the kibosh on anything big happening today to the upside. But we're going to get into the housing sector, which had some news that should have made all the stocks just rally if that's what was going to happen, but didn't see a lot of it. Anyway, where's my... There it is. Got to put my thing back over here. Anyway, where's it at here? There we go. Anyway, we were seeing some news that should have really rallied these stocks, but when we look a little closer out here, not a lot of love. D.H. Horton, this one should have been able to break out with the news that we had in housing this morning. The May 19th high at $24.47 had 6.2 million shares. Today, we've got 2.8 million shares. So we're basically broke through it with half the volume. We're making a low volume doji out here today. Armstrong Worldwide, this thing's back up to kind of its resistance level at about 55.5 bucks. Didn't do much for it either. KBH, which of course has been the one everybody's been talking about, finally got up here into this top of this big January 13th down candle that had 35 million shares. And sadly, we have 3.8 million shares so far today. So there isn't a lot of love off that huge sell-off on the 13th of January, but certainly we are back up here with extremely light volume. Lennar, another one of these stocks out here that should have been able to bust its previous high. A little lighter volume today, but certainly couldn't break the high of $50.14 from the May 19th high, 3.8 million shares. Yesterday, 3.4 million shares. So you got into it with okay. You got 3 million shares today, but there just isn't a lot of juice back up out here. Certainly nothing more than it would indicate a trading range in Lennar. The Lennox International, the big the air conditioning company, couldn't even get a thrill out of today's news. Kind of a sideways doji in it. We won't even talk about lumber liquidators. We'll talk about Ryland when we come back. Toll Brothers, USG. Some of these should be doing pretty well. We'll look at Ryland. Anyway, back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you're always looking for ways to diversify your financial portfolio. Everbank's innovative Market Safe CD can help you diversify while protecting your principal deposit. In fact, Everbank unveiled a new 5-year Market Safe Power Metal CD, which combines the power of gold, silver, and copper. Metal prices are currently low, so this CD could really deliver. Consider the facts. You get exposure to 3 valuable metals in one index CD and have the potential to earn up to 45% capped upside payment at maturity if the metals increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should they decrease? No worries. There's zero risk to your principal here, as you still get 100% of it back. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. No annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest is paid on the CD. Intrigued yet? The July 9th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is a member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. We're looking at this housing market because the news and sales of housing should have made these stocks blow through the previous highs with volume, and certainly not getting that today. We look at the 23rd of April on Ryland when this gap down with a significant volume of 1.7 million shares. We're into that with a million shares today. Even a couple of days ago, we were into it with just a million shares today, 347,000 shares or something. Another little doji out here. So none of these are jumping up and telling me that they're wanting to go to a much higher party. Could they drift up? The answer is yes, but the volume is pathetic. And it's not just pathetic on one of them, it's pathetic on all of them that I've been looking at anyway. Toll Brothers, one of the weakers, not even out here testing its previous high over here to the right-hand side. So if this one hits 38.96, it will probably be a miracle. TriPoint Homes, another light volume test in that $15 range. USG, this one more than anything looks like an ABC down. Let's take a closer look at this one. I'm going to say probably an ABC down in that one. When we take a quick look, it's done a 58% retracement out here. Volume is next to nothing on this. An ABC would be down to 24.98. We'll see if there's anything out here in the way of that 24.98. Yeah, a couple of lows in that 24 area. So when we look at this, it would be very easy to see a test of the previous low. And guess what? You got a high volume low out there on March 18th that needs testing. It needs testing. I warned you. I warned you. Anyway, USG, keep an eye on that. And somebody bringing up Beezer, another one out here trying to get back up to the highs. You're looking at 1.1 million shares from the January 13th high. It's in here with, 500,000 shares so far today. So it's going to be light. And, we'll have to see how this market closes. But it is the end of options rollover today. And we're probably going to have a move tomorrow that would be consistent with the move probably all the way through July the 4th. So you don't like to see highs with light volume if you are a bull. Sometimes they tick up slowly on you. Rarely do they break out with a huge amount of volume. Normally you get volume before the breakout, but a handful of those stocks already is what I'm watching at. Now, Boeing, it's a lot of people trying to hop on this thing on the negative bandwagon today. You got a little higher low out here at 139.90. So it did break the previous low. So probably out here in this 140 range, it's probably going to retest that low. Today, a lot of people making a lot of noise about a lawsuit going on about Boeing, about potential bleed air coming off the jet engines and coming into the cabin. But I don't know. It seems like we would have known something by now if it was a real problem. They've only been able to dig up one stewardess who says that she's got some kind of health issues on it. Maybe there's more to this than I see, but it just looked to me rather opportunistic and light. So I don't see a lot in this. And again, could it come down? Yes. I just think that there are much better stocks out there to play on the short side. This company has orders out the yin yang and the best product. I try to find people that probably have a product that's either going away to short or has a major flaw in their product or something. And frankly, this one's hitting on all cylinders, although my mixed metaphor for a jet engine. We're going to look at some other stocks out here that we have come along. BIIB. Looks like maybe this thing is it's back in its where this gapped down fairly. Biogen gapped down fairly heavily on the 24th of April with 6 million shares. We got into it with 1.2 million shares yesterday. Probably going to have about that similar volume, getting a little reversal out of here today on this one. You could make a case that maybe this is leading the IBB to the downside and ABC down, although we have no confirmation on that yet. Citigroup is one of the better companies out here in the finance sector. This one had basically pretty close to the same volume on the 11th as we did on the previous high of December 8th at 56.95. Today we get into that with about 10 million shares, which would probably say that, again, these companies everybody's waiting for these stocks to break out, but no one wants to buy them up here. They just want to buy some kind of pullback. And that becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The Geo REIT group, some of these housing and other REITs, let's take a look at this because I'm not familiar with it. Pull it up and find out what they're into. Correctional detention and re-entry facilities. So I guess prisons aren't what they used to be. Anyway, this one's down fairly low, but maybe buying time out here. We do have the May 7th low at 35.85. Got into it with lighter volume at 500,000 shares on June 15th. Coming back down, and today the volume 300,000 shares. So maybe it's time to go to jail. Maybe orange is the new black. Think of Geo when you think about that. Other stocks out here that look like they've made some tops. We talked about this one the last couple of days. GW Pharmaceuticals, GWPH, light volume test of the April 27th high. A little doji out here today. Hasbro, I think we showed this yesterday. I didn't talk a lot about it. And could this be an ABC up? The answer is yes, but boy, talk about poor volume. Basically, you had you needed about 8 million shares, and you've been under a million shares for the last 4 days. Doji yesterday, just above it. A little volume up here today, a little higher. But I would watch very closely for this thing to come back down to about 67.50. It looks, normally summer is pretty weak for these companies. Of course, a lot of people thinking that now they're not so much toy companies anymore as media companies. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can send me an email at path@tfnn.com. And I don't know what else you can say about that. Richard in just east of Orlando has lots to say, but I can't say it on the air. I've got my hate mail stalker. And that's something every broadcaster looks forward to. It means you've made it. They care enough to send the most filthiest, and I think that's always important. But we'll ask Richard to take a couple of aspirin and lay down and take a nap. Other people out here, we took care of Boeing, which was one of the requests so far. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, but we'll look at some other ones. The iShares Russell 2000 Value Index Fund, the IWN, is making some rather light volume test of its previous high volume high on April 15th. 104.95, 1.9 million shares got into it today. Maybe closing above that on 400,000 shares. So 25% of it. Yesterday we had half of the volume and a doji. So you have to look at that, keep an eye on it. But now this is a little different than the IWM itself. It's basically the value percentage of the iShares iShares Russell 2000. So this is probably less of the speculative stocks. And if you compare this against the IWM, you'll see stocks that actually have real earnings and ones with ludicrous pricing. A lot of the new IPOs are in that Russell 2000 that don't have any real earnings. This one tends to be the companies with real earnings and real values that they take out of that. Always good to compare the two. Thank you, commenter in the den. We were talking about this one yesterday, Lannet. It just could be a fairly nice ABC on the way down. Not a lot of volume and a lot of push out here for what I was looking for. Montpelier Real Estate Holdings. Again, these stocks should be breaking out with significant volume. You needed about 3.8 million shares for the March 31st high, or even 680,000 shares if you wanted to be incredibly generous to this for the April 8th high. And we've got about 220,000 shares on this one. Let's see what this REIT holds on it. I haven't had time to look at it. Insurance and reinsurance solutions worldwide. It operates in three segments: Bermuda, Lloyd's, and collateralized reinsurance. Maybe they think some people are going to not do so well. Holding its highs, though, so you have to keep an eye on that one. Maybe people are buying insurance. Navistar, which was very interesting, the truck building company. I'm pretty sure this is the same one. We'll take a quick look at that. Commercial and military trucks, yeah, which is kind of interesting. This thing had huge volume down on the 4th of June. Volume even on the 5th was at 3 million shares. It's come back into that. Bounced a little, came back into it. Now the volume is very light. 1 million shares, 950,000 shares yesterday, 700,000 shares. Today, 400,000 shares. You'd want this thing to basically your break even, or whatever is going to be 23.57. That's where you don't want this thing to close back down below. And we're pretty close to that. This would need to get back into a dime higher. But then you might have $2.5 back up to this gap that looks like it will be operating as resistance at 26.50, maybe 26.75. Please assess MID, M-I-D-D. For the Z Meister in the den. Well, you had a false breakout here. You needed 54,000 shares, 540,000 shares. You did get it with 600,000 shares into two dojis, light volume of 200,000 shares on the 22nd. This thing is pulling right back in. This is Middleby Corporation. Let's find out about those guys. Divines manufactures, markets, and distributes services, commercial food services and food processing and residential kitchen equipment in the United States. I think we brought this up a couple of weeks ago. I think this thing, when this, I think we did. I think we brought this up when it was coming out here. You had what should have been a sign of strength. It just never got the volume that you really needed out here, which is, probably in the neighborhood of 800,000 shares, 900,000 shares that's back in. Probably wouldn't short it, but looks to me like it's headed back to probably 102 or 103 to retest this gap up from the 14th. 850,000 shares, that should act as support. So you're probably looking at a trading range of this back down to 103. The SOX, one of the more interesting indexes or ETFs out here. Again, a lot of these popping above highs, not really getting a sign of strength. You needed what? You needed some decent volume. You kind of got the spike. Then we had nothing in it. It pulled right back into the trading range. We're pulling back up to those highs again in the SOX. This just even didn't do much. I think you can make a decent case that we are in an ABC down in the SOX. And let's see if I've got anything out here. We'll just make it here. I'll select that as the A. This is the B. And this guy as the C. And you got a nice little ABC, I think, set up here in the SOX. It would not surprise me that you get back. 1-to-1 takes you to 92.55. And that's back around support area right back here. That's not that much farther back down. And that would just be a little pullback in what's been a fairly nice move. But to me, you're really looking at maybe even a move down as low as 98.28, which was the March 26th low. And once that gets tested, it had a little bit more volume than the February 2nd low, but it did have more volume. No real retest of that yet. And if you got that close, you'd probably want to retest of that low before you went long on this. Let's take a quick look at Intel in the last minute before the break. INTC. I think they're going to do okay, but you can almost make a argument out here too that Intel is in a little ABC down. It did a 42% retracement, and just a 1-to-1 out here would take you to what, $28.76. And guess what? There's that big gap up that has not been tested yet, and that's right at that about 29.20 to 28.40 level. And I think Intel could come back right into that again. Support's going to come in fairly strong at 29.30, 29.60, right into that gap that's acted as support before. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me your hate, like Richard in Ocala.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back, and, well, we get the Price is Right song yet again today. One of the living dead stocks, BlackBerry, disappointed a little bit. You would think from what they were saying on CNBC and all the talking heads that this stock was going to the moon and they were going to take over both Apple and Android, and all was well in the world for this. But the market has spoken, and it is lower today. My guess is that we're going to see this thing break this big gap that's been around at about $8 for a while. And this is a good education for how you distribute a stock that is dead. You keep hacking off limbs and arms, try to keep the body alive. Tell everybody how you're turning things around when you're not, and you get a lot of your minions out there. There aren't enough minions anymore. I never see a job application for a minion. I'd like to apply for a minion job. Anyway, the minions out here have been pushing this thing for the last year or two. It's like we said, it's a Walking Dead stock. They doesn't know that it's quite dead yet. It's headed back down on volume today. It's going to blow through this major gap up where they started pushing this claptrap back in the mid part of 2014. So they've had 2 years to, well, a year, I guess, to go and push this thing. They tried to get it over $10 so they could get it shoved back in a great deal of the funds. No luck there, pushing that pablum. It is now back lower. It's not that I hate this company. It's just that you got to do something. You got to have a new product. Once you lose your mojo, it's like Austin Powers. You got to go back in time. BlackBerry needed a time machine and does not have one to go back and change their mojo. And my guess is that we see this back under $8 here in the next couple of weeks. There was nothing good about this report, but look for the pantheon of upgrades and how these guys are going to turn lead into gold. Because there's one thing that they know, and that is that this company's going out of business, and they want to sell all their shares to you before it does. I don't see, or I haven't heard any argument whatsoever that states that there is an opportunity. Of course, this thing's perpetually short 40 or 50%, so I don't know what else you can say about it other than that. It's going to take a long while, and when you get short a stock like this, or you're a big fund, you're just going to have to sit on it until they go bankrupt, and then you can buy the shares back. But that may be a lot closer now. I'm not saying to go out and short an $8 stock, because they can bust this one up $1.50 anytime they decide to once again come out with news that they can turn lead into gold. The truth of the matter is they cannot. Just like Sears Holding, another one of the wonderful living dead stocks that got shellacked last week. Not enough shellacking going on. A lot of paint. I had to look hard to find some shellac. Anyway, this thing got shellacked, of course, and I was in Sears Saturday night and waiting for somebody. They had one person waiting on probably about 10,000 square feet. And I was talking to some gal, and I said, yeah, Sears Holdings, they're probably out of business in the next year, maybe 6 months or a year. Hard to say how this company stays in business. If you ever go to one of the retail outlets. Anyway, this one's headed back to $24 and probably lower, I would suspect. If they make it through this Christmas, it would be a feat of extraordinary magnitude. And shellacking is a beautiful thing, Andy Heck says. Guess Andy's in the next hour with Tom O'Brien. Tom, for the next 2 hours, he'll handle the closeout here. We'll see how this market actually is closing. I mean, we're up 26 points on the Dow. It's nothing but noise. So we'll have to see this market close. Tomorrow, truly, though, is going to be the rubber match, as they used to call it in cards. So we'll see you tomorrow. And this market should either break out or break down tomorrow. See you then.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.